All right, you need to sell your home, but you're stressing out because the market has shifted pretty significantly. And if you watch the national news, it's telling you that house prices are crashing and the sky is falling and everything terrible. Well, don't worry, guys. The North Texas housing market is a little bit better than you might expect. So today we're going to share with you all the tips and tricks to get your home sold in this North Texas market. So let's get started. I'm Holly Haven.
And I'm Andy Haven.
Welcome back to the Haven Home Team YouTube channel. We are your no-filter North Texas real estate team. We are here to answer all of your real estate questions in a very no-pressure way. So let's go ahead and dive in. We've been talking a lot about the housing market for the last couple of years because it's been so crazy. We did not expect all that we experienced over the last 2 years. And last May, around May of 2022, we had a really big slowdown from what we had been dealing with. And that prompted house prices to settle, less competitive, overpriced offers. We're seeing higher interest rates. This is that bad news that's kind of been in the media. This is what we've been listening to for the last 9 months.
Yeah, no, I think everybody's so scared, but it's actually just more of a normal market.
Yes, guys, we are back to pre-pandemic, and I really hope we never have to use these phrases again. I'm over the pandemic conversation. However, we really are looking at a market that feels a whole lot more like 2019.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's more of a comfortable market. I understand that maybe a lower interest rate might have felt comfortable to you, but it was so fast and so competitive, and you had to have cash over asking, and that was not a normal, natural market at all.
Yeah, it's not even what we would call a stable market. So we are in now what feels much more stable. Andy, tell us kind of some of the things that you've been experiencing working with buyers in the market right now. And the reason I want to go through this is the seller really has to have proper expectations. And if we have it in our head as a seller that we're going under contract on day 3 with 20 offers, we're going to be a little surprised right now.
Yeah.
But what does that surprise look like? Are we still getting multiple offers?
Yeah, we're definitely still getting multiple offers. I lost a condo, 20,000 over on like day 30, something like that. It was on the market forever. There's a ton of houses like that. They're waiting till day 35 and then people are putting in offers because they think they can get a better deal. So as a seller, that's something to think about. You may need to wait out a little bit to find the perfect buyer, but also as a buyer, waiting out 30 days might be better for you as well. So I think there's a lot going on in the market. I think people are trying to level out the market, but I think it's a little bit hard because there's not a ton of inventory on the market. So as a seller, that's a good thing for you. And I think it's just kind of one of those things where we're coming off of such a hot market, even though it maybe wasn't the best market. People just don't really know what to do.
Yeah, and neighborhood by neighborhood, we're resetting expectations because we need enough comps in the neighborhood that have sold recently, not necessarily a year ago. So we're really relearning every single market right now as well. And we're just resetting expectations for sellers because buyers are kind of in their own game plan right now.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I think something that I've actually seen a lot more recently, which I haven't seen in the last 2 years, is people are starting to stage homes again. Which I know sounds weird, like why did we stop doing that? But there wasn't time to do that a year ago. So I think now a lot of people, if you're looking to get the best bang for your buck as a seller, staging your home is going to be your number one thing in this market.
Yeah, and that's actually the next thing on our list. So I'm super excited you brought that up. What does it really mean to stage your home? This comes up quite a bit because we have some of the old school thoughts. We've been taught to believe, right? We take all of our personal family photos down. We take, we kind of remove all personality. As much as that's kind of sort of true, it's not just about taking down your family photos. It's really about getting somebody in your house that's not you, that's not tied to those personal mementos, right? We don't want the magnets on the fridge. We love your kids' artwork, but nobody loves it as much as you. So things like that, it just makes your home feel more put together, less cluttered. So it's going to be those minor things where we just talk about, hey, let's just take away the things that you aren't even looking at anymore. You don't even notice that stuff on the fridge, but the person who walks in your house to see it for the first time, it's all they can look at because it starts to feel cluttered and personal, and they can't look past it to see the size of the room and if their couch will fit.
Yeah.
So we have options to bring in stagers. So we bring in stagers that can use your furniture, your items, and maybe just throw in a couple of extra details to really make the home photograph and show super, super well so that we get that great first impression.
Yeah, they usually estimate about $1 per square foot for that.
Yeah, it kind of depends. If they're bringing in furniture, when we bring in actual furniture, it works best in an unoccupied home. It's kind of hard to stage and have furniture when we have a family living in it, but we can do a lot of things that really are going to help your home show better, sell faster, bring you some more money at the closing table. And honestly, I've had homes staged for sellers and they loved it so much they tried to get out of selling their house. Suddenly they loved the new layout of the living room. So you'll be surprised at how much a little bit of furniture rearranging and maybe clutter removal will totally change the style and feel of the home you live in now.
Yeah, and I think as the seller, the cheapest option to really revamp your whole home is getting rid of massive pieces of furniture. So if you have a sectional that takes up your entire living room, maybe taking out a few pieces to make it a little bit smaller so that buyers can see the potential of your living room, it might be something that honestly changes the whole playing field for buyers' offers.
Yeah, we see it a lot in master bedrooms with the large, oversized, really heavy wood furniture.
Kings and stuff.
Yeah.
It's just like way
We have
too
that
big
really
for
heavy
them.
wood furniture, maybe taking one piece out, move it to the garage, store it. You don't have to get rid of it, but making that room feel better to that new buyer walking in. Okay, let's talk about pricing the home for the market. Sellers love their homes and we totally get it, right? We have homes and we love our homes too, but we have very biased opinions, right? We take every little detail of sweat, love, and tears that we've put into our home and we attribute that to value.
Yeah, and especially whenever you've done your own renovations, I think people pride themselves in those renovations, and that's amazing, but your price may not be actual market price. And it's something that you have to consider when selling your home, that maybe your $900,000 price point is not what everybody's willing to pay for your home, and that is okay. But if you want to move and buy a new home, then you need to be okay with offers and negotiating and considering a lower price for your home.
Yeah, so being realistic up front, because there's nothing worse than putting your house on the market at $900,000 and finding out that no one will even come look at it. And it's not because your home isn't beautiful, it's because it's just not priced appropriately for the market or the neighborhood or the size of the home. We really need some strong justification for pricing. And in a market like we're in, where we're back shifting a little bit from last year, something people haven't quite understood yet if they're not in this market day to day is the prices we were seeing this time last year were almost like a false increase because buyers were willing to pay that much overvalue. It wasn't the value of the property, we were giving it a new value. And so we're kind of back in that market where we are still trying to figure out what the buyers are willing to pay, but we need to justify that current pricing based on other comparable homes within the neighborhood or nearby, or, you know, not trying to price it at $300 a square foot when your best comp is $250 a square foot.
Yeah. And this is where having a realtor really comes into play, because since we are a non-disclosure state in the state of Texas, you cannot see the value of your home on Zillow. You can't see the value of your neighbor's home on Zillow. So finding a price that actually makes sense for your neighborhood is only going to be able to be found through the MLS.
Yeah, and we go through a lot of coaching and education with our clients when we are setting pricing and setting those expectations. Because if the house next door is 2,000 square feet and yours is 4,000 square feet, that is not a comp. We do not get to look at that price per square footage and apply it to 4,000 square feet. It's a sliding scale on price per square foot as we go up in size of home. So there's a lot of education that kind of goes along with that process. And part of that is going to be how well your home is maintained. What is the first impression going to look like? Is it updated? What kinds of updates? What level of updates? There's a lot of different factors that go into that.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's a lot of what maybe sellers don't really understand about a real estate agent, is there's a lot that goes into it. And there are a lot of numbers and statistics that we do look at to price your home. It's not just, oh, we think your home is $700,000. No, we really do use the current market to price your home.
Yeah, and I think, you know, the other thing to kind of consider as a seller is if you think your home is worth, you know, 900 and the agent is telling you it's 850 and they're showing you the data, remember, we're going to get paid more money if we get 900,000. We want the most for your home because we want you to be successful as well. So it doesn't really do us any favors to, you know, short the sale price of your property. Yeah. There's a lot of strategies in there that we will discuss with our clients. Like maybe we do price on the lower side in order to create some competition. So those are all kind of educational discussions and processes we go through when pricing a home with our clients. Okay, so one of the things that comes up a lot is, you know, we want you to hire an agent, right? Even if it's not us, we want you to hire a really great agent. But you've got to look at some of the things the agent does to help get the home sold.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing you need to look at is the marketing of the agent. Do they have social media platforms? Do they have a YouTube channel? Are they on TikTok? Do they have weekly emails that they send out to their entire database about your home if it's being listed? Like, there's a lot of things you really need to look at, and how are you going to get the biggest bang for your buck?
I'd like to make a side note. We have all of those things. So you should hire us. But honestly, guys, marketing your home now is different than when I started. I started in real estate about 21 years ago, and I wish I was kidding, but we would put an ad in the paper to get your home sold.
I don't think I've ever bought a newspaper in my life.
Right? And then we would go on Craigslist a few years later. So guys, there's ways to market your home within the current market that's going to be really important to getting your home sold. We know putting your home on the MLS is a huge, huge step in the right direction. So when you put that for sale by owner sign in your front yard, it's just not the same. I know you think you can put it on Zillow and you're going to get all the same views. And unfortunately, you're not. And you're not going to have somebody that truly knows the value of the home, understands the negotiations of the property. So just that little piece of marketing saying, oh, well, I have it on Zillow or I have it on Facebook somewhere, it's just not enough. But really making sure that home is properly marketed. And that starts with staging and photography and, maybe even us suggesting some minor updates or changes, like a lighter paint color will make a huge difference.
Yeah, I went through that a couple of months ago with a seller. We suggested new carpet and new paint, and we actually didn't end up having to do any of that because we got an off-market offer, but it was something they were willing to do. It was probably a $10,000 investment, but it was going to potentially gain them over $50,000 to $80,000 in equity. So it's just something that when you walk into a home, if you're the seller, you want to be able to walk into somebody's home and imagine yourself living there without having to do any updates. So it's definitely something to consider when you want to list your home.
Yeah, so taking all those pieces into consideration so that we can market your home properly, and that's going to depend on the seller's motivation, right? Do they want to sell quickly? Do they want the most money? Do they have to move super fast and they're just ready to take an offer because they don't want to do any updates? Mm-hmm. All of those things are going to come into account when we put that marketing plan together. And it is going to be a very comprehensive marketing plan. So that is one of the questions as you're hiring a realtor, which is the next piece we're going to talk about. That's one of the questions you should be asking. What is the comprehensive marketing plan? Do they have an agent list that they email out to, right? Who do they contact? Do they tell their old clients? Do they have any place in the local community where they can share this information about your property? So those are all really important factors.
Yeah, for sure. And I think even looking into, like, do they even have past clients? Like, is that something they're going to be able to actually leverage off of? Because at the end of the day, a big team or a team like us in general, we're going to have more clients than this individual that has just started, and that's totally fine. But it's something to look at when you're looking at marketing specifically, because maybe their marketing is amazing and they pay for marketing, and that's awesome as well. But I think it's just what the exposure that you're actually looking for with your listing.
We can say from experience, when we send a listing or a property out to our personal database, which is mostly our past clients, referrals, maybe buyers and sellers we've worked with, even if they didn't close the deal, we get a lot of traction back on that. A lot of questions. We even, it creates some showings. We do things like open houses. So when you're looking for a realtor to represent you, usually the first question that comes up is, what do you charge? And even though we understand that that is a very valid question and it is something that we absolutely need to discuss, it is not always going to be the final result. And is it the best agent for you?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's a lot of times where people would look for a listing agent that's the cheapest, and that might be a great option for you. But at the end of the day, you're not going to get the full service agent that you're looking for, because they're not going to be able to afford to stage your home. They're not going to be able to afford to take professional photography. There's a lot of things that go into paying the 6% that's actually going to get the benefits that you're looking for out of your 6%.
Yeah, and I would highly recommend that you ask around, ask family and friends, somebody that they personally used, that they had really good experience with. And for every client, we find that it's a little bit different. Some are more focused on communication, others are focused on just the numbers and the process, and really getting that clarification of what is important to you in a professional that you hire is going to help you find the right agent for you.
Yeah, for sure. I completely agree. I think that's kind of the biggest thing at the end of the day, is just finding the agent that works for your needs.
Okay, as you're hiring that agent, a question for them might be something to the effect of, how do you handle negotiations? As the market shifts, negotiations are a little bit different, but they're still leaning towards the seller's side in most cases. So we want to make sure that we're not giving up too much from the seller if we're in a competitive market, which we are still in a really competitive market. So kind of just asking questions, ask for scenarios and examples of maybe a current negotiation that they've been involved in, maybe something that they went back and asked for because the seller really needed it and they ended up winning on that deal and getting the offer that they really wanted for their client. So understanding what the negotiations can include. I know on the buyer side recently, Andy, you just got seller concessions for your buyer.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about what seller concessions are. And I know this was a win for your buyer, but at the end of the day, it was an offer that worked really well for the seller as well. And so you guys ended up winning this offer.
It was actually a win for the seller as well at the end of the day. It was a full price offer with $10,000 over asking. And that $10,000 was to be given back to the buyer at closing. So basically, this does not affect the seller at all. And the home is appraising for this value. So it also doesn't affect the buyer. And we also had title paid for. So this is something that obviously was a buyer win. But at the end of the day, the seller actually only paid for title and realtor costs, and they got a full price offer.
So if you're not understanding kind of what that process looks like, shoot us a comment, drop us an email, ask us some questions about that, because there's a lot of things within the contract that we can negotiate in different ways to make it better for one side or the other. And really, at the end of the day, we want a win-win negotiation. We want buyers and sellers to walk away happy. Part of that of like hiring an agent and working with negotiations is really what kind of reputation the agent has in the local market as well. It's super important for agents to answer their phone and respond to emails. Make sure that the communication is there, that you understand what to expect from your agent, and that you're getting that as a consumer as well.
Yeah, and I will say, this is a little off topic, but I was scheduling showings this weekend. I reached out to 10 agents, okay? I reached out to 10 agents and only 5 would let me schedule a showing over the weekend. This was on a Saturday, and by Monday, I still have not heard back from 5 agents, so.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it's something we see a lot in this market, or just in our market, right? It's every industry has professionals and unprofessionals, right? And so this industry is no different. And we know that sometimes the non-professional agents do reflect poorly on the rest of us. So we're just here to kind of provide you guys some tips and some resources to hopefully help you make better decisions in who you hire, who you work with, and simplify the process. We want it to be really easy from beginning to end. We want you to want to work with us in the future. We want you to refer your family and friends, and we want to earn that business. And what do we have for them down below in the comments?
Yeah, we have the listing guide or seller's guide for you guys to click on. And if you do not live in North Texas and you're not moving to North Texas, but you found this video and you think we're awesome, we actually have referral agents all over the United States in multiple different countries. So if there's any questions you have, we can always answer your questions and refer you to an agent in another part of the country.
A great agent, because we only refer to agents that we would personally work with. Guys, reach out to us, ask us any questions, download that seller's guide, like and subscribe, and we hope to see you back here soon.
Bye, guys.